One of the best parts about WWE is all the weapons wrestlers use and the crazy stunts they create with them. Of course, WWE is scripted, but some of these moments are extreme. So what are the secrets, and how does WWE pull them off without actually hurting anyone? Fireballs are not used often in WWE anymore, and there's a good reason for that. The fire is 100% real, which is why it's so dangerous. The way a wrestler creates a fireball is by using what's called flash paper, which is made out of a highly flammable compound called nitrocellulose. A wrestler uses a lighter to set the flash paper on fire and throws it towards the other wrestler's face. Because the flash paper burns so fast, it limits the chances of someone actually getting burned. This also makes it harder for fans to see that the fireball isn't really burning anyone. When Kane appeared in WWE, he shot fireballs as well, but he did it a bit differently. Instead of throwing the flash paper, Kane had a small gun that he loaded the paper into. Not only would the gun shoot the flash paper, but it would also set it on fire. This not only looked better, but also made the stunt easier to perform and left less room for error. Alexa Bliss would use a similar device in 2021 when she shot a fireball at Randy Orton. However, photos taken of the incident showed just how close the fire got to Orton's face. While the Viper wasn't legitimately injured by this stunt, someone else was. Back when Kane was still shooting fireballs, he was about to hit Triple H with one, but ended up blasting Chyna instead. While this was part of the script, the moment became very serious because the fireball actually hit Chyna for real. Luckily, it didn't cause any long-lasting injuries, but it goes to show how dangerous working with fire is. One of the most violent moments in WrestleMania history was during the no-holds-barred match between Triple H and Batista. At one point, Triple H pulled the animal's nose ring out with a pair of pliers. It looked brutal, but if you look closely, the ring is still in Batista's nose after Triple H yanks the pliers away. Right after this happened, Triple H went to the referee, who gave the King of Kings a second nose ring. This second ring is the one that the game held up for the camera. While this was happening, Batista crawled out of the ring, with his face to the floor. This gave him time to take out the actual nose ring without the fans seeing him do it. As I said, this match was brutal, and at a different point, Triple H tried to break Batista's fingers with a different pair of pliers. If you look closely though, you'll see that the handles on the end are all the way down and touching each other. This prevented the pliers from pinching the animal's fingers and actually hurting him. During a different moment, Triple H started whipping Batista with a metal chain. Now, this was a real chain, but the game and the animal did something very clever to prevent anyone from getting hurt. First, Batista made sure to lie near the announcer's table. Then, when Triple H whipped the chain, it hit the table first, which took the brunt of the impact. With some clever camera positioning, it looked like Triple H was whipping Batista full force. Speaking of Triple H, the game is synonymous with sledgehammers. The cerebral assassin used the weapon throughout most of his WWE career, but was it real or fake? Pretty much every sledgehammer Triple H used was the real deal. That's why he would always cup his hand around the top of it whenever he hit people. With that knowledge, you might gasp when you see this clip.
Look out! Oh my! To the back of the skull of the Big Show!
When Triple H first started using the sledgehammer, he used one with a rubber head, which is how he could hit people without seriously injuring them. However, the wooden handle was real and could accidentally hurt someone. This is what caused Triple H to use a real hammer and, most importantly, shield whoever he hit with his hand. In addition to the sledgehammer, another dangerous looking WWE weapon is the cinder block. Wrestlers have had their faces and other parts of their bodies smashed into these things. So what is going on that allows them to do this without dying? Unlike real cinder blocks that are made of concrete, WWE cinder blocks are made of a plaster-like mixture containing water and sand. That mix is then poured into a mold of a real cinder block. After it hardens, the block is then dyed and detailed to make it look like an actual cinder block. Because the mixture is so brittle, the cinder block breaks very easily and gives a crumbling effect. This also makes it safe for the wrestlers to use, and they only feel a very light impact when hit by one of these blocks. One of the most spectacular WWE moments is whenever a wrestler goes through a sheet of glass. The only thing that doesn't make any sense is how the wrestler avoids cutting and injuring themselves. That's because the wrestlers aren't going through glass at all. Whenever WWE needs someone to go through a sheet of glass, they use sugar glass. Sugar glass is created by mixing sugar and water together and heating it up. When it's hardened, the sugar looks like a sheet of glass, but it's much easier to break than real glass and way less dangerous. Since it is sugar, you can actually eat it, so there's little to no harm whenever a wrestler goes through sugar glass. To see what going through actual glass looks like, you need to watch the 2001 King of the Ring pay-per-view. During their street fight, Kurt Angle threw his opponent, Shane McMahon, into a glass structure, but it didn't break immediately. That's because that glass was plexiglass, which is the real deal. They were eventually able to make the glass break, but Shane McMahon got seriously injured because of it. An attack that seems far less dangerous, but is still spectacular to see, is the green mist to the face. The green mist used by wrestlers like Tajiri and Asuka is a mixture of water and green food coloring. It doesn't hurt at all, and the wrestler who takes the move just pretends the mist is burning their face. Now, how does the green mist end up in a wrestler's mouth? Usually, the wrestler who'll be spraying the green mist gets a small capsule from the referee. The capsule dissolves in the wrestler's mouth, and when the time is right, they spray the mist. The wrestler usually can only have the capsule right before they are going to spray someone, since it is a choking hazard, and the wrestler could accidentally spray the mist prematurely. Now here's a question: which WWE weapon is more dangerous, a steel chair or thumbtacks? We rate WWE weapons from safest to most dangerous, and you can find out by watching this video.